Welcome once again to our February edition of the Chariot Automotive Group podcast. I'm your host, Nate Barrett, along with Twin City Senior Sales Consultant Tom Yater. And I've been waiting on this one for a while, Mr. Tom, and now seems to be the right time. It's time to do our first edition of the updated EV program as we get into the EV, the BEV group of vehicles that we've been waiting on really for several years. And we're going to get into that with you because you're taking the training on it. We want to talk about it. I do want to report off the top that Twin City has the EV chargers on the ground now. We have, as of this recording, 4 RTs on the ground or inbound, 3 RT scat packs on the ground or inbound. I see Button on their website, our sister store in Kokomo. Button has 2 RTs on their website and 2 scat packs on their website, and then Academy with 2 RT chargers. And that's as of this recording as we near the end of February. The point is they are here on the ground. And it's time that we're working from top to bottom to get familiar with these. You know, it's not often, Mr. Tom, that dealer principals, general managers, everybody has to take classes on this, sales, service management, everybody to get ready for this. But with that, just welcome. And as you know, it's been several years coming, and here we are, and it's an exciting time.
No, it is. In fact, we're kind of excited because just today, we got an email that we're going to be able to go hands-on in April to specific training up near Chicago to touch, feel, and get more instruction on this platform that we've just started getting. So we're real excited about that because that's where you really learn.
Yeah. So if I come into Twin City, Button, or Academy tonight and I say, well, Tom, I've heard this, that, and the other about these BEV vehicles on the internet. Tell me what you know, and first maybe differentiate for folks that are trying to learn more about this. We've had the plug-in hybrids, the PHEVs, for several model years now, but the BEVs, the battery electric vehicles, is a whole new thing. And help off the start, maybe separate for folks the difference between the two.
Yeah, be happy to. The PHEV we've had, as Nate mentioned, for a few years. And what's cool about that is like for in-town commutes or like, I'm driving one right now, like just going back and forth to work. I'm basically using electricity and I don't have to use gas. But then you have the luxury, like if you go to Florida or you're going out of town, you have a gas motor. And so it kind of gives you the best of both worlds. And, you'll get, 25 to 28, 25 to 30 miles, depending on whether we actually have 3 models with the PHEV. We got the Grand Cherokee, the Wrangler, and the Pacifica. And so you're going to get somewhere depending on outside temperature. There's a lot of things that go into that algorithm. And so it can change how many miles you get out of it, depending on weather, wind. Also, whether you're going home through the city or going the highway. Because when actually on the PHEVs, when you're driving in town, well, and for the BEVs also, that stop and go, you get in regeneration. And so that really helps in terms of getting more bang for your buck on the electric, so to speak. So that's kind of the way that's looked for the last few years. And we've had several customers take advantage of that technology. Now, that being said, we've just, as Nate mentioned, we started getting the BEVs, or the battery, total battery. And in that model, we've got the Charger Daytona. We got stage 1 and stage 2, and then there's an RT. And then also we just got in our first Wagoneer launch edition S package. And I'm just going to talk about those specifically the difference between the two, if that's okay, Nate.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the Dodge Daytona Charger, we got the 2 doors, and we've got those in first. And there's actually stage 1, stage 2. Stage 1 actually is 596 horsepower, just a little under 6. And then the stage 2 is actually 670. And so and the cool thing about these BEVs is that they're all-wheel drive. So they're, they're great here in the Midwest when sometimes you need, the all-wheel drive. And actually there's programs in the vehicle itself that you can, if you want to disengage the front from the rear, you can do that. So like in the old days, go do burnouts. But anyway, the gentleman, Matt McAleer, that he just took over the Dodge a year ago in January 2024, is real passionate and excited about the Dodge branding. And his mind thought is this: he when asked, he said, well, we're just building the best muscle car. It just happens to be EV. And so he's just really excited about moving Dodge forward in the EV platform. Now, that being said, there, a lot of people ask the old timers about, are we not going to have gas anymore? Well, we will have ICE vehicles in this platform. They're going to do two doors and 4 doors. That's going to be coming. And so for the people that are stuck on an engine being in the vehicle, and they'll have up to right under 500 horsepower. So they're not going to leave those folks that, aren't as excited about, electric vehicles. They're not going to leave them behind. But let me get back to the Daytona, the Charger Daytona. 670 horsepower. They actually have a motor in the back and the motor in the front, and that actually gives you 635 horsepower in the stage 2, and then there's a boost you can hit to get up to the 670. And so, but they've really done a nice job. They built it off the platform of the old 68 Challenger. Or Dodge Charger, I mean. And so it has a wide stance. In fact, when you move around to the front of it, it's got what they call an R wing, which in the old model was on the back of the car. Well, it's called R because the Gary Romberg back in the 60s, he was the one that designed that wing. And so they moved it around the front, and it's very functional because it pulls the car down for aerodynamics to actually outperform our previous gas Hellcat. And so for those that are thinking that it doesn't have power, it does. It performs. And then, so in the front, you do have that wide stance that looks really cool. And then you go down the side, and actually they've taken some of the badging from the 60s and implemented that onto the vehicle too, which is really cool. And
the sound too, right? We'll get into that too, the sound.
Yep, I'll talk about that just in a minute when we get to the rear. But when you go down the side, it's really sleek, and you'll notice that it has 20 by 305 wheels and tires in the front, and then it has the 335s in the back with big 16-inch rotors, and so really nice. And then when you get inside, it's really pointed nicely, and there's all kinds of things you can do and it has over 170 safety features, and so they really haven't left anything out on this car. And the other thing that's cool, back in the 60s, you had 2 wheelbases, one for the Charger, the 2-door, and then there was a 4-door. Well, on this model, it's actually the full size, and so it's not only functional for seating in the back, but also room. The back seats will lay down, and you have tons of room with the lift gate in the back if you need to haul stuff. And so they really have thought of everything. Now, when you get to the back, being an electric car, you wouldn't expect it to have any sound. So what they did, they have this Fratzonic air system that, I mean, you start it up, and it actually has just as high a decibel as the Hellcat. But here's the cool part: you can go into the settings, and you can it has 3 different settings in terms of how loud you want it. You can click it down so you don't hear anything if you're going to grandma's house or something, and so so it's really got an awesome sound.
Awesome. Tell us about the frunk, FRUNK.
Oh, okay. So in the front, you have, if I remember right, you have 3 or 4 cubic. When you lift the front hood, you have room to store a few things right there in the front, and then so you have that, and you also have room in the hatch if you want to haul stuff.
That's great. Also want to touch on range, Mr. Tom. That's always a question with EV is what are we looking at range-wise, given these different packages?
Yeah. So both and I'll talk about the Wagoneer launch edition here in a second, but both of those models, you're going to get in the neighborhood of 300. And again, it's going to depend on driving habits, what you're using in the car, weather conditions, all kinds of different algorithms go into that. So everybody's going to be a little different, but they're designed to the point that you can get 300 plus miles on one charge. Now, in charging it, there's a level 2 and level 3. The level 2, it takes about 6 to 7 hours to fully charge it, from 5% to 80%. And then if you have a level 3 charger, then shoot, you're half hour to an hour, and you're going.
That'll work. And then we also want to touch on for somebody who wants a small car, we do have an electric Fiat 500 now.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I forgot to mention that. We have the Fiat, and then we have the Hornet as well.
Yes.
That if you're wanting something smaller, and so there are some choices if you're not wanting a big car. And thanks for bringing that up, Nate. Our Fiat and our Dodge Hornet, both you can get in the either the Hornet in the PHEV or the Fiat in the
The other thing is safety and security features. When I look at Dodge.com, I see we've got the tire to curb distance warning. We have the available turn signal activated blind spot, and forward collision warnings, and automatic emergency braking. Maybe touch on some of the safety and security features.
Yeah, so they have left really, in terms of safety, they've left nothing out. I mean, you get forward collision mitigation. If somebody cuts you off, the brakes will apply. You get automatic cruise control, adaptive cruise control, I mean, so that when you're driving, if you want to set that, it's a safety feature that'll let you travel at a safe distance behind another car if you're traveling out on the highway. Of course, blind spot monitoring, cross path detection. Cross path detection is if you come out and there's 2 cars parked on both sides of you. When you go to back up, those sensors will go out, and if there's something moving, a car, kid, dog, it'll beep, even though you can't see anything. And then once you see the car pass or the kid or whatever, then you can back out. So all these cars have all the safety stuff.
I took an RT for a quick spin this afternoon, and I felt great on the road. And you're able to easily monitor where that range and where your battery is. But it also occurred to me that There'll be a focus, I think, initially here on some employee leasing, some EP leasing for those in the Kokomo area and beyond that are green slip customers. I think there'll be a real focus. It seemed like some strong lease payments on these vehicles early on.
Oh yeah, the leasing's awesome on these, and particularly if from the factory or your dealership employee or friends and family discount or that kind of thing. So yeah, so for the price of these vehicles, there's going to be some attractive payments for you.
I think that the main thing would be, Mr. Tom, it's one of those where if you're curious, you just need to get into Academy, Button, or Twin City and just test drive one of these, particularly for folks that have been past Charger and Challenger owners that are skeptical in some cases, moving away, to another option here. But for my initial drive this afternoon, I was really impressed. I liked how the car felt in the seats. I love the steering wheel, which is a new design on our steering wheel. And I also thought the dash was just really space age, really looked sharp. Maybe touching on the steering wheel and dash, how we've made some significant changes to the interior of this car.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like that Wagoneer, the Wagoneer Launch Edition. There's 45 inches of screen in that car, and so you got everything you need to look at, and it's all touch. It's all very user friendly too. There's nothing complicated about it, and there's all kinds of different lightings you can do inside the car. So yeah, and really it is really user friendly.
Well, Mr. Tom, they can get a hold of you by email at tom at twincitydodgeinc.com. Is that still a good email for you?
Absolutely.
And then do you want to give them that cell phone number?
Yeah, just call or text 765-491-4102. That's 765-491-4102.
Thank you for all the information. Much more to come in the ensuing months this year as you and Greg Henson, some of our other great sales team members, will head to a ride and drive on this product, on all these EV products. First ride and drive we've had in several years for many folks. So that'll be exciting, and we'll have you report back on that. But thank you for the information. It's an exciting time. They're on the ground, and we'll look forward to telling you more as they go along. Thanks, Mr. Tom.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Tom Yater's the man to see. The BEVs are on the ground at all of our Stellantis stores in the Chariot Automotive Group Academy in Tipton, Button, in Kokomo, and Twin City and Lafayette. Come out, test drive them. RT, Scat Packs, Fiat 500e available over here in Lafayette, and of course the Wagoneer S at all of our Stellantis stores. We'll look forward to telling you more in the ensuing months. Tom, thanks again for being with us, and we'll see you next month on another edition of the Chariot Automotive Group podcast. Have a great night.